Not only that, but German soldiers are literally marching around with tiki torches, honoring their leader, Angela Merkel, as 150 major German corporations just announced that they're going to conduct the largest vaccination promotion effort ever, literally regurgitating the government's talking points, trying to impose their will on the people of Germany. So there's a lot of historical parallels.
Let's pull this up. We got this story from thelocal.de. This is a German news source. Explained. Why is German Twitter up in arms over a torchlight military parade? It's not so much that a bunch of German, military men of some degree are marching through the night with torches. It's that Germany is also implementing lockdowns for the unvaccinated. We're seeing in Australia, now this is outside of Germany, the internment camps where you will be taken from your home with no due process and then detained in a little tiny box where they tell you can only go outside to do your laundry. You can't, or you have a balcony, but you can't cross the line. You'll be fined $5,000. So Germany, as Daniel just mentioned, Italy, Austria, all coming together and being like, we are going to mandate this injection upon the populace. Otherwise, you can't have food. And now they're marching around with torches.
Does their camp have a little sign above it that says like the vaccine sets you free or something like that? Yeah.
Those are the arguments that government bureaucrats have been making. Take this vaccine, do as you're told, and you're going to gain your freedoms back. You're going to gain your access to society back. You're going to be able to go to a restaurant and purchase food.
Well, even Biden has hinted at that. More than hinted at it. He said that as much.
And that's such a backwards, insane kind of critical way of thinking that we have to first understand on face value. They're the ones who took away normal life. They're the ones who took away economic prosperity. They're the ones who took away our ability to live a normal, prosperous, happy, healthy life. They're the ones literally implementing policies that have created more depression, more suicide, lack of economic opportunities, have impoverished people, and literally have stolen their wealth right in front of them, literally disappearing the value of their dollar as it sits in their hands. The value of the dollar is being extremely devalued. And people are finding that less and less they have the ability to do anything that they want, and every aspect of their existence is being tightly regulated and controlled by bureaucrats who think they're gods ruling over you. The
funny thing is this is actually an old story. It's from October. The German torch story.
What were they marching about though? That is kind of weird to have
I guess
they were celebrating Angela Merkel, and this was a pay of respect.
They were marching to honor those who risked their lives or lost their lives in their operations in Afghanistan as part of the withdrawal. And so this is back in October, this story at least. I don't know, maybe they did it again for Angela Merkel, but this is the story on the local. And the funny thing is they're marching next to the Reichstag, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
With torches in their hands. So the funny thing is, when they announced that they were going to be locking down anybody who didn't get the vaccine, a lot of people were like, oh, there's Germany getting back to tradition and getting back to their roots of, mandated medical procedures. And then this photo is actually old, and people are like, hey, maybe something's been going on in Germany that we haven't been paying attention to.
Yeah.
There was a joke. I can't remember who did it. Maybe one of you guys remember. He was like, who was this? I saw this recently. Hold on, I'm trying to think. I can't remember. He said that if he were like the UN or whatever after World War II, do you know who this was?
Maybe. Continue.
He was like, we'd tell Germany, you don't get to be a country anymore. It's like you started a war against the world, like literally trying to
Wasn't it Norm Macdonald maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
He was like, you started a war against the world.
Yeah, he was
you don't get to be a country anymore because look what happens when we just let them keep doing their things. It's a weird thing, but you know what I love the most about the European Union and Germany is that we literally have like 2 wars and a Cold War in an attempt to prevent the consolidation of power in Europe under one governing authority. And then Germany comes along and they're like, hey guys, let's do this union thing. We'll have the strongest economy. Your currencies will all be devalued, and then you'll have to borrow from us.
Yes.
And Germany basically becomes the dominant power in the European Union.
Amazing. I have a pretty lit friend on the right who I won't say his name, but who has a whole theory that Germany is the worst country in the history of civilization. Because he's very, very Catholic, starting with Martin Luther and the Reformation.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes through every 1,500 years, something has come from Immanuel Kant. Something comes out of Germany that is destructive to the rest of the Western values, ending with the Green Movement in Germany. He's like, I have evidence that Germany's, no offense to any of your German listeners, Germany is the worst country in the history of Western civilization. It's a pretty funny theory.
Was communism coming out of Germany?
Where was Karl Marx from?
Wasn't he from Austria?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it?
I thought he was German.
The Frankfurt School, was that from Frankfurt? I don't want to be, a little dull. I don't know where they say it's the Frankfurt School. Is the answer that obvious?
Frankfurt, Germany.
Karl Marx is German.
Marx was German.
Marx is German.
Marx was German.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are these guys doing?
Exactly. Now Beethoven was also German.
This is the funniest.
We do love him very much.
This is the funniest thing about like white nationalists and like their views. I'm like, yo, like these bad ideas literally came from Germany, dude. Like you guys were just full of bad ideas. Oh, I think the white nationalists, don't identify with the communists, but I'm like, yo, you guys need to rethink ideology because you have no idea what you're talking about because you just sound really dumb when we look at Germany and like, hey, all of the bad stuff, like the extremist ideologies of that era, mostly came from like these places.
Yeah,
bad stuff. We want freedom.
Yeah.
The people who came to the Americas were just kind of like, yo, we want to do our thing, even if it means like landing a boat on a barren shore in the woods and just building right there. And like these people would get on these boats and they'd be like, well, 1/5 of the people on these boats are going to die before we even make it there.
Boy.
And then once we do, another half will die before winter comes.
Let's hope we have enough water.
Yep.
Don't run out of apples. How long are we going to be on the boat? I don't know. 4 months, 3 months, depends upon the wind.
Yeah, what they have to bring like limes with them? How did they pull that off? Did everyone just have scurvy and they're all like hunched over when they arrived?
I can't imagine the folks who did it for back and forth full time, the traders, right? Hence the Dutch East India Company being, I think, still to this day considered the most wealthy company in the history of the world.
Yeah.
But imagine going across seas and you do it again, you come back, you go back. Holy cow.
The amazing thing about it was how many people they killed over making food taste better.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, sometimes like when I have steak, we just do a little salt on it, I guess. But man, they were ready to like colonize, invade, destroy, burn, pillage, murder, and enslave. Did I say that? All because they were like, food must taste better.
Cinnamon, pepper,
saffron, black peppercorn, man. That was it. Like, my understanding is that black peppercorn was like they would stab you to
conquer
get
the world,
to sprinkle it on their food. Yeah. I admit black pepper tastes good, but now everyone's got it on every diner table.
Yeah, we are very lucky. We are very privileged, and that privilege and that luck is slowly being taken away from us by a sinister group of really bad billionaire corporatists. But throughout history, when you look at history, they not only tell very interesting tales, but one common thread is always these crazy megalomaniac people trying to rule the entire world, trying to take over the entire world. Whether it was Caesar, Napoleon, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Hillary Clinton, Attila the Hun, Vlad the Impaler, there was always a group of people that wanted the entire world for themselves. And I think it would be naive to think that there isn't another kind of person or group that wants to do that today. And I think a lot of the crazy policies that violate human rights are their way of doing it, of slowly incrementally putting it on us without us noticing that there is someone trying to have control of everything.
There's of course competing interests of very powerful individuals who want control of a lot of things. That's just history, like you were mentioning. But I think back to the movie The Patriot, because I love that movie so much. When and you guys have seen it with Mel Gibson.
Sure.
He's meeting with, I think, Cornwallis, and they're discussing, officer exchange or whatever, and it's like a trick or something. But the Cornwallis is like, we're going to discuss the cessation of the targeting of officers on the field, and he was like, gladly, when your officers stop targeting children. And then apparently that scene, like the British got really mad, like the actual British were like, we've never done that didn't happen. But anyway, I digress. The point was, in that film, they make the point that during war, they'd be like, okay, we're all going to go out and march and kill each other, but spare the officers. And Cornwallis was like, could you imagine what battlefields would be like without gentlemen in charge? It would be chaos. This is the same attitude that persists today. The ultra wealthy elites are like, oh, we'll go to war, but don't worry, if you lose, you're fine. We'll take care of you. You're going to exile, whatever. We'll just kill all of your civilians and citizens, and then you, as the wealthy and powerful elite, for the most part, you're spared. Except when it comes to more modern warfare. Now it's like if you defy the established order, like they'll invade your country and they'll just burn everything to the ground. Like Hillary Clinton, we came, we saw, he died. Now it's gotten like just very straightforward war, death, murder, etc.
Or they will cancel you. That's also another way. And I think the more we're moving from modern warfare, we're moving into a different form where I think it's psychological. I think people inflicting harm on themselves after being brainwashed and propagandized is an aspect of this that we should be entertaining, because if you look at the kind of biggest increase in cause of death, suicide and deaths of despair are becoming more and more common, and they're growing every single day. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's another layer, another aspect of fourth generational warfare, or some people would say fifth generational warfare. I think we have to entertain all of those aspects, especially because this concept of one person bombing and attacking and conquering another place has failed throughout human history. And I think there's powerful people who are a lot smarter than that, and they have started to implement it in a different way where it's not really that obvious, because if it was, too many people would resist them, just like in recorded human history, they resisted them and they weren't able to fully successfully take over.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.